Let's go. Alright, so first like 50 minutes or so is just classic Okami all brushes nonsense. It's like you gain time and then you immediately lose it to some bullshit. Either your own messing up or stuff you haven't encountered before. Just you get hit with the classics. But yeah, let me explain a bit more about the game. Cutscenes are skipped because New Game Plus and all that jank. One thing I tend to do in this game a lot with the cutscenes that you see is jump into the trigger, and then right after the cutscene I jump again before moving, usually in combination with a dash, and that will allow me to recover my speed. As you can see, you have like 3 walking speeds: normal speed, then after you dash you have half speed, and after a while you go up to full speed. So it's kind of like the goal to maintain full speed as much as possible, and the only thing you cannot carry full speed through is loading zones that have little paw prints on them. And of course drawing fast is also a main part of the run. That's where I'm still lacking the most in comparison to other runners, is drawing fast. Drawing fast be hard. But yeah, there you saw half speed and now there's full speed. Right now half speed is little like things of grass. Also, shoutouts to that rock, that's never happened before. Anyway, half speed is like the little blades of grass, and full speed is when the flowers start popping up. After I get the bloom ability, then this, what you see right here, the flowers, will be half speed, and full speed will be golden plants behind me. You can speedrun it on the PS2 version if you want, shady. It's just, you have slower loading times, and I think the menu's a bit slower as well. But outside of that, it's pretty much the PS3 version. I can understand if you wouldn't want to do it because of those reasons, though. Anyway, I'm almost done with this little tutorial area right here. You could also keep your speed through the water, as you saw, as long as you don't touch the control stick before jumping after you exit the water. Just let your momentum carry you to shore and then jump from there. Yeah, fair enough. And what's up, bro? Alright, so in this part the game wants us to talk to 3 of these people statues. People turn into statues. We'll talk to 2 now, and then 1 more when we come back, because there's a lovely little glitch called the KT glitch, Karmic Transformer. That's what it stands for, Karmic Transform glitch. That will allow us to break out early. Basically what you do is you get into the air, and then you switch Karmic Transformers, which are like kind of different skins for Amy that you can unlock with New Game Plus. And whenever you switch to those different skins, the game thinks you're on the floor for like a frame. And then you can do a dash, and then out of that dash you can jump, because it considers it a ground dash. And that way you can jump pretty much infinitely. It's used as the main tool to break this game apart. We're going back in Kamki Village later though, because we need to get Lily Pad. Faster to break out and do this first. Get Bloom so that you can like unfreeze the village and do the Lily Pad stuff at the same time. How hard is it to run any percent? You're asking the wrong guy, because I have never ran it. From what I know of any percent, it's in terms of trick difficulty, it's about the same. It's just not as long, so that helps. However, if you do the optimal route, then you have a point in time where you have to do about 100 KTs in a row. It's called the Gale Storm. There is an alternative route though that feeds the dogs like you do in this run, so that you don't have to do those 100 KTs. And it's not really so much hard to do all of those in a row, it is just tedious. Just takes forever. Anyway, we don't actually have sunrise yet, the ability to spawn the sun. However, the game thinks you have it at all the points where sunrise is required to progress. Just didn't really think like, oh, you probably could have skipped that. Like, no, it just assumes you have it, so as long as you draw the circle, then the game is a-okay with it. Oh, another thing about any percent compared to all brushes is that because you don't have a certain ability called Inferno, there is a enemy fight where if you spawn it, you soft lock the game because you can't beat the enemy without Inferno. It's like I don't know, over an hour in. KTs are definitely the hardest part, but optimizing your movement proved to be more difficult than I thought when I picked it up. Anyway, hi Amelia. So now for the last time in a while, I will complain about this ball. This ball has a completely awful hitbox, but surprisingly I got it up here pretty fast. This is where things then kind of went wrong though. Struggling with the ball's hitbox, and yeah. I pretty much complain about that every run, so I figured I'd keep up tradition. And that feel when you can get it up quickly. Pretty much. Drawing fast is hard too, by the way. No big deal, Amelia. Don't worry about it. Alright, so right here there would be another fight. However, most triggers in this game for fights or other stuff aren't really that big. So you try for some KTs. Third try on that one. And you could just jump over the trigger. Easy peasy. One does not need luck when one is watching a video. That fight you can just run around. I completely skipped over that part in the intro as well. There's supposed to be 2 fights in the like tutorial area, but you can just run around those as well. Triggers are silly. And that turned out to be my best Hanavelli ever, surprisingly, since I got a 3rd try KT. Shoutouts to the bark button. Oh yeah, I know those days, Amelia. Just this kind of days where you're like, you know what, I should just stop doing anything at all today, because it's just not gonna work out. Anyway, now we have to go back to Kamiki Village to finish up what we haven't done yet. Boulder is still there though, and the game spawns us inside the boulder, so you have to get up with a KT. Then kind of clip through the top of it, so you land on top, and then you can jump over an invisible wall. Camera can be a bit unpredictable during all that. And now, one of the hardest parts of the run, drawing circles. I'm not even joking. These trees, in particular, are pretty damn picky with where your circles need to be for them to work. We also do this minigame in order to progress a side quest. Oh well, I guess it's a necessary quest, come to think of it, with the doggies. You basically have to prove to yourself to another dog by digging up all the turnips while the lady chases you around, but she's still frozen in statue form, so it's no big deal. Thank you, Amelia. And then we progress with the blooming of the trees. Also talk to the lady in the field as our 3rd person to talk to. Which sets the trigger that we can get sunrise and unfreeze the village, even though it looks decently unfrozen already. Expect every fight to be cheesed to hell as well. It's new gear plus, so you're overpowered. You have like the string of beads, which gives you invulnerability and 10 times attack power and infinite ink. Stuff like that. And you have the strongest weapon upgraded with gold dust. The glaive and the beads, respectively. And then you have those AoE items called the exorcism slips, which are honestly way too useful. I'm kind of mad they put them in the game. Okay. So, what happened there with the video is it accidentally paused because I dropped something on my spacebar. Go fucking figure. Let's just deselect. Yeah, mad splicing. Totally. Hmm. Anyway, there's Lilipad. Kind of debating whether I want to upload uncommentated or commentated to YouTube. Especially considering that pause happened. I think I'll just upload the uncommented one to YouTube and then I'll throw in a link to the Twitch highlight for the commentated one. Couldn't hit KTs for shit right here. So whenever you see me do KTs, there's usually at least one pause after it. It's basically to make them infinitely less punishing, since they can be pretty hard to hit. You open the pause menu and then like as it opens up you can see by Ami's position or like whether you see the start of the dash animation to see if you got the KT. If you don't see that animation then you can instantly try again because you're already in the pause menu, and if you do see the animation you unpause and you proceed with the rest of the inputs. Actually, what am I talking about? The pausing of the video doesn't matter at all. We use in-game time for this, you can't splice in-game time. Not in the middle of freaking Blossom Tree, at least. Doesn't matter at all. Alright, so the reason we do this little side quest is so that it turns night. You can only get Cherry Bomb during the night. And conveniently, getting that little book instantly turns at night so that you get the tutorial for the named monsters. Now here is a KT that you really don't want to fail. And I failed it. Basically, if you fail it once and you, by being too late and you accidentally do the air dash, then you're almost guaranteed to fall into the trigger. This is one of the 5 triggers that's actually hard to avoid because of how big it is. So yeah, I had a really good early game to Lilipad and then I kind of threw most of it away on this. Shadows to all brushes. It's always something. It's always something. Nice thing about like it's nice thing. Failing that is not really nice ever, but I guess the upside of it is that you don't have to avoid the trigger on your way back, which makes this split a little bit faster. So while I may have lost time on the previous split, I'm gonna make a little bit of it back here. So that was pretty nice. Got like almost half of it back. Here you do a KT to get up the wall in order to avoid the fight with Waka, because it starts off very slowly and then you have a cutscene and then you have to fight itself. It's just such a time waste. Why bother? And you go up here, going up with a KT is slightly faster. Even if you fail it this much. And then you just get close to the spring in order to activate it for some fast travel later. Now, because with the KT glitch the game considers you on the ground for a frame, it only works above solid ground. And there is, however, an alternative to it called the liquid KT, where you have to be slightly above the water and then change carbon transformers, and it gives you a jump anyway. I was too high there. I was not close enough to the water, so I didn't get a jump. This too can be repeated infinitely, but you can't gain any height with it, so it has very limited use in the run, and I'm kind of bad at them, not gonna lie. Which is weird, because it doesn't really have that small of a frame window like original KTs. But oh well. I will say that my KTs in the first 50 minutes of the run were not exactly good. It took a while to get into my groove. But yeah, say goodbye to the time save again. Rather than taking a normal way up, it's faster to just go here and do some KTs. Fortunately here they were good, because I was already losing enough time as it is. First try both times. So at this point you kind of do an optional side quest in order to get an item from these moles to do their little mini game. And then you bring that item back to a different guy and he gives you a golden mushroom, which you need for Fire Burst, which is an upgrade to the Inferno brush ability. Because that's the category definition pretty much. Barely made it in time. But yeah, get all of the brush powers as well as their upgrades. Bring this guy's whatever the hell it is back. And then he gives you the golden mushroom. Just realized my mic was still slightly delayed. It's only 0.3 luckily because my capture card's pretty good. Should be fixed now. these bastards in order to get the mermaid spring. Which again is for fast travel later on. Okay. So rather than do the quest that it's kind of required to get into Sassa Sanctuary, we're just gonna move to the back, KT over the portal that we just came from, and kind of fall out of bounds. The nice thing with out of bounds in this game is the inside of houses and stuff tends to be loaded. They are just located way below the map that you're currently on. So I could just fall inside the house rather than having to do the quest to gain entry normally. Shoutouts to infinite jump glitches breaking games apart. That was just another editing minigame, easy peasy. Forget how many there are in the game actually. It's quite a lot. Oh, we only do 2 of them in a run. This one and the one to get Fountain. Go. Ahead again. Don't worry, I'll watch it. So earlier in Comic Village I was doing some stuff for a side quest involving dogs. You basically have to gather a whole bunch of dogs in order to gain access to the guild shrine. One of those dogs is right here. Some of them you have to feed, some of them you have to fight. And this is one of them that you have to fight. We haven't actually even started the quest, but we'll do that right after this, and you can just gather the orbs from the dogs early. Easy peasy. This game would be significantly less broken if the little all the little stuff that you have to do to progress the story had proper flags. It kept everything in check. It's like, hey, you haven't done this part of the story yet. This part should not be loaded. But fortunately for the speedrun, you can do a lot of things in whatever order you wish. Right. Time to go feed dogs in Kusa village. The shop menu was essentially just buying mermaid coins in order to have access to the mermaid springs for fast travel. First coin is free, but after that you gotta buy them yourself. Thank you, PX. Enjoy your food. So you're also kind of on the timer here. Whenever we, like when we bloomed the tree for Taka Pass to get rid of all the curse zones, it also always turns into daybreak. So what we're trying to do here is pretty much do the entirety of Kusa Village before it turns night. The little crows calling is like a kind of, yeah, an extra mental split that you can have for that. So they always happen a certain amount of time before it turns night. And that was actually the latest I've gotten them before. But yeah, so it kind of depends how fast you do the water spout split and the Kusa Village split. Whether you make it before it turns nighttime or not. The biggest reason you want to avoid it turning night is because after you feed on all the dogs and you beat this guy, the dogs always just stand there outside, and as soon as it turns night, they will teleport inside. It can happen. So because we gathered the other dog early from the bamboo grove, we actually did not feed one of the dogs, the one with the purple sash, to be precise. And if we feed him now, we are actually gonna teleport to the place where we were supposed to feed him, even though the doggy isn't there anymore. So that is quite a nice way to travel. There's also the thing that whenever it turns night, it whatchamacallit, it sets your speed back to half speed, so that will make you a little bit slower. And there you go, it turned night just as I left the village, so that was definitely a very nice blue split. So at this point we are pretty much skipping every dungeon we're supposed to be doing right now. Like Gil Shrine, we're not actually doing yet. We're not doing To the Ruins yet. Or Moon Cave. Now we're just gonna go straight to the second part of the game. Thanks to the magic of KTs. And city checkpoint skip. We will have to go back for them later, but it is faster to first go to this part of the game and get an ability called Double Jump, which decreases the amount of KTs we have to do by half. Because you have 2 jumps instead of 1 jump for every KT. My consistency with this trick is kind of weird. Like, for a long time, it'll go well, and then just a couple of runs in a row, I cannot do that skip for whatever reason. And yesterday, I actually lost a full minute on that skip. Which is pretty damn rough, not gonna lie. If we were to follow the path down here, then we would run into another fight. That fight is pretty easy to skip by just cutting through the cursed zone right here. Once that meter depletes entirety, you void out, but as long as you maintain your speed, it's easy to just skip that fight entirely. You also skip doing one of the water pools. Shout out to the cameras. There we go. So yeah, slowly building up a lead again, but don't worry, I'll choke it on something soon. First though, we have to get the double jump as well as digging champ from the dojo. And turns out the fastest way to get to the dojo is by clipping out of bounds with some wonky collision on these stairs right here. Stair clips can be a bit of a pain, but third try, not bad. Once again, the inside of the dojo is located below the current map, so you just fall to it. You have to use 1 KT to get over there though. Yo, Cybersonic, thank you for the host, man. Much appreciated. So yay, double jump. Stupidly useful, so we get it as soon as possible. Right there at the top of the slope there is another fight. That is easily skipped. Another KT. Second try this time around. Not too bad. And if you remember the golden mushroom that we got earlier, we are now going to use it to get fire burst before we even get the ability that it is an upgrade to, which is Inferno. So yeah, it's two abilities that we get in the wrong order, and they are both about to happen. Fire burst is not actually useful in the run at all, no, but you know, you have to get it for the sake of meeting the category requirements. Lost a bit of time there to some failed KTs and third try stair clips, so not a big deal though. At this point, the PB I was running against was pretty damn solid. Basically, Fire Burst, Mist Warp, and Crescent Split. Actually, Green Ryushima Split was pretty good as well, but I actually managed to improve that one. Right, so rather than talking to the fishermen to raise the bridge, just gonna skip it. We have to pass through here a couple of times, but never do we actually raise the bridge. Not necessary at all. Here's my favorite two characters. Bro is pretty cool. Doing pretty good. Got a nice run that I'm really happy with. Although we're still in the booty part of it. How you doing, Cyber? So here we actually go out of the way to just KT over the gate. Waste a bit of time to do it, like we are gonna get to that area at some point anyway, but it allows us to get Mist Warp earlier, which is the upgrade to Mist. And it's essentially like a form of fast travel, but between save points. If we were to get it at the intended point of the run, then it wouldn't actually be useful at all. But because we can get it early, we can make good use of it in the early game. Get the row slips, which is to get into the sunken ship later. A lot of early game is basically just setting up the few flags that the game does have in order to help us with what we have to do later in the game. And it's kind of just progressing every little quest at the same time. That sucks, Cyber. Hope you have more luck next time. But yeah. Now we have done everything we need to do here. We can take this fountain back to Agata Forest in order to go gather a dog and some abilities we need. As well as set a flag for, I'm pretty sure, Moon Cave. It's the only thing that makes sense for why you would do this little thing now, to be honest, since it is related to Moon Cave. We got a little Susanoo segment. Susanoo is amazing. So yeah, at this point we are gonna have to do a fishing mission. So, there's a couple of them in the game. Some require to progress the story, and most of the ones that are required to progress the story are here with this little guy. He has 2 of them, and right now the game is a little bit confused. The game is thinking we are doing the second mission. That's like the cutscene I played at the start. However, the actual mission that we're doing is the first fishing mission. And when we complete it, it will actually complete both at the same time. Because that's how far we progress the story already. But yeah, as a result, we only do 2 fishing missions in the entire game. I disagree with that being a power slash the first time I tried to draw it, by the way. But hey, the game and I disagree on that a lot, apparently. But yeah, we do this one and the one with the Marlin, because she needed in order to get Whirlwind. So yeah, with that we get the ability Crescent, so we can turn it nights whenever we want. And we also get the doggy that we need in order to get into the Gale Shrine. And as you can see in Emmy's mouth, we also get the key to the ruins, which is what you're supposed to get on the first mission. Don't actually need the key though. If we open the door with the key, then we would get cutscenes and stuff, and it would just be all waste of time and all that jank. Instead, you just jump over the door. Actually, only barely made that. You can hear me landing on top of the gate. So yeah, I've lost most of my lead already again at this point. And this is one of the splits where in the early game, where I can actually save a bunch of time. Because in my PB, I accidentally hit the... Actually no, I think my PB, I missed this jump right here. Actually fell down some bridge, so I had to do a whole bunch of KTs, which I then ended up taking several tries to get, so it wasted a lot of time. And I also didn't get a cutscene skip right here that is so precise, it's might as well be random. Basically, the prompt for skipping the cutscene only shows up for like a few frames. First though, we have to clear these gates. Since we went straight up here, we also skipped the intro cinematic for the dungeon, where it just kind of showcases some of the interior. Has like the little name pop up. It's a very long cutscene. It's like 10 to 15 seconds or something. Maybe even 20. So yeah. Turn a day here, and then here's the super precise cutscene skip. Like the prompts only appeared for like a fraction of a second there. It's silly. I didn't get it, so I'm not getting the full time save on this split, but KTs were good enough, so I will still be saving a bunch. Also, if you do a power slash correctly, you can get all of those pots with a single power slash. However, I ended up missing one of them. It's, you know, iffy, but not that big a deal. It's pretty common. Later, Mac. I don't need good luck, I'm watching a video. So yeah, do everything we have to do to get fine right here. Fine is one of the abilities we would have to get even in any percent as compared to all brushes, simply because it's an ability that you need for a boss fight, Spider Queen. You don't actually have to do the original Spider Queen in this dungeon, like we can just straight up leave the dungeon right now, we don't have to finish it, no need for that. However, there is a refight in the arc at the end, so you need it for the refight. And now on our way back we have to skip the intro cinematic for the dungeon. And I had a little bit of trouble getting a KT, and as a result I got kind of flustered and I jumped too early and I end up falling into the cutscene trigger anyway, so all of that time I just gained, as well as my lead before it, are gonna be gone to the failed KTs and the cinematic. Yeah. This is pretty classic all brushes. There's always something in all brushes one run that goes wrong. So I'm honestly not too bothered by it. Especially since I still met my goal with this run. And after the Gilstorm split is pretty much where I'm happy with the entire run. And there's a couple of places in particular that I'm kind of proud of. Use the Mist Warp to get to Kamiki Village in order to get the last dog. Mist Warp again to get back to Prison Village. Because now we can finally enter the Gil Shrine and go get Gilstorm. Somehow managed to bonk on the actual save point as well. Which is kind of impressive in and of itself. So yeah, pretty much my early game can be summed up as like partially really good, where I'm building up loads of time saves and then I keep throwing it away on dumb mistakes. Gil Shrine is nothing special, really. It wasn't, if anything, it was kind of below average in my run. Just maintain your speed throughout all this junk. Go get the key. Yada yada yada. You also don't have to finish this dungeon, just like Pseudo Ruins. But hey, you do need to get the brush power up. And I'm menuing too far to the right. Where the exorcism slips are and the menu changes after every time you do all of the feeding for a specific scenario. You have the meat feedbacks for dogs in Kusa Village and then the fish one to get Catwalk later. So yeah, sloppy movement. Rather than taking the elevator all the way up and doing a whole bunch of walking and stuff, and be doing that fight for another key, you just skip all that entirely by doing some more KTs here. Which I am currently failing to do. There I thought I had it, but I didn't, so I dropped a bit, yada yada yada. Below average kill shrine. And then if I only get up there. It's gonna cost me like about 15 seconds. Unfortunately. So yeah, at this point I wasn't feeling all that good about the run, because in the PB I'm comparing against, I had the best moon cave I have ever had. And moon cave is one of the hardest parts of the run, so it's kind of worrying to go up against that. So the plan going into attempts has been get like at least half a minute of a lead before I get to Moon Cave, so that I can throw 30 seconds away there. And yeah, needless to say, that plan is off the table at this point. So the new plan is get an even better Moon Cave. Like that warmer thoughts going into it. It's like, well, I guess I'm gonna have to get an even better Moon Cave. So I didn't really want to reset this one. It still had potential. There's still a bunch of time saved in late game. But yeah, this is where the run finally kicks into high gear. And my Moon Cave is one of the parts of the run that I'm the most proud of. Always felt like, for how sloppy most of my gameplay still is in comparison to like Kanan and Darkness, I feel like my Moon Cave is better than it should be for my skill level. For supposedly one of the hardest parts of the run. Moon Cave, unfortunately, is not a dungeon where you can just go in, grab the power up, and then leave. Only way to leave is to just beat the entire dungeon. But fortunately, it's also the most broken place in the game. It's pretty much out of bounds heaven. So many damn places to break out. Definitely my favorite part of all brushes. So this is one of the few barriers that they actually tried to make it high enough so that you couldn't in any way get over it, but the thing about infinite jumps is they're infinite, so it doesn't matter how high they make it. You do need like a whopping 5 to get over the barrier though. Whereas usually like 1 or 2 is enough to skip things. But yeah, my Enter Moon Cave split, my Inferno split, and my Imp Chef split in the PB I was comparing against were all best splits. I already beat the Enter Moon Cave split by a second, so that was a good start. I ended up falling too far thanks to missing KTs though, but hey. I somehow managed to reach the portal with an extra KT. Looked a bit janky, but it didn't end up wasting too much time, so it's fine. Now at this point I wonder how many KTs in a row I get before I finally miss one. There's a lot of places in Mooncave where I'm wondering that, but yeah, that's 2 already. And then there isn't a few for a while, just the vine section. The entire thing behind this dungeon is that you have to go around the entire thing in order to A, get the brush power up, and B, get the 4 ingredients for a meal for Orochi. Or an appetizer, I think it's supposed to be. And then after that you can go fight Orochi. But thanks to the way it's designed, you can just get it all in the wrong order and stuff. Skip almost all of the puzzles in the process. Vine shenanigans. Sometimes they're a bit tricky in order for them to properly latch onto Annie, like this one. Took a while. But there we go. Anyway. That's 3. That's 4. And that's 5. That's 6. Also have to make sure I avoid all the other rooms on my way to Inferno. 7. And that's 9. 10, and then 1 more to get to Inferno. 11. Didn't miss a single KT in that entire section. So yeah, on the streak of 11. It's a damn good start. It's unfortunate that I ended up missing the portal in the beginning, but it'll happen. But yeah, since then, 11 KTs without fail. And I ended up getting another best split right there. So the plan of get an even better moon cave is in full force. It's 12 and 13, and we break out of bounds again. Yo, what's up, Socks? 14, 15, 16, and then I don't need to do any more KTs for a while. Still keeping the streak going, 16 KTs without missing one. And we just keep going. 17, 18. There are infinite jumps. Infinite jump to speedrun. 19, 20, 21, 22. Wait, was I at 22 or 23? I forget. Let's go with I think 23. But yeah, just a friendly reminder that the infinite jump glitch is not exactly easy. It's like close to a 1 frame window, if not a 1 frame window. Anyway, 25 in a row. 26, 27, 27 KTs. Haven't missed a single one since entering the main area of Moon Cave. Totally using scripts to cheat, Socks, totally. Yo, what's up, Lester? And it just keeps going! 28, 29, 30, 31, and there we go. I finally missed one. 31 KTs before I finally missed one. Also, once again, I do not need good luck on watching a video, guys, please. This is an offline run that I'm restreaming right now for you. So yeah, I ended up dropping a bunch at the end there, which is actually enough to make me lose time against my PB. It was that good. I'm not retiming, the timer is in the video as well. Like, it's in the title, Shady, and I have corrected 2 other people while you've been here. On this fact. Like, I'm not even retiming, I'm just playing the video. Timer is in the video as well. But yeah, 31 KTs in a row. And then I somehow end up misaligning myself with the bell, so it's kind of unfortunate. I went into here plus 14, and then you get to Imchef plus 10. That's what I consider the real brunt of Moon Cave, really. Orochi. It's the boss fight, there's nothing too special going on in it, so yeah. Going up against my best mooncave, I still managed to save 4 seconds overall. Damn proud of this one. You're watching it, dum-dum. This is the sub 239 PB. I had a sub 239 PB actually, because we track in-game time, and that was a 238.50 something. Alright, so, the Orochi fight. It's absolutely littered with cutscenes, so first you have to damage him to get the cutscene that says, he cannot be damaged. This is like big story plot points. Again, you're watching it, Shady. So yeah, and then you have to let him attack, and then he does the screaming cutscene, and then you're like, oh hey, when he opens his mouth, maybe you can, you know, water spout the sake into his mouth and stuff. But the wonderful part is that you can do that with 2 heads at the same time, or even 3, but in this fight only 2. Because you're thanks to the cutscenes, you're kind of forced to work with the fire head. And the setup for 3 at the same time requires the light head. One with the white headdress there, right there. But yeah, you can still do 2 at the same time, which is pretty damn awesome. And after that, rather than running up to the bell, I will use another exorcism slip, because they're overpowered as shit. And my items on New Game Plus make me overpowered as shit, etc, etc. Which also allows me to one-shot all of these heads with the beads. Usually whenever you use the power slash to wake up the Earth Head, it's because you're not supposed to be in a position where triangle, like the shooting the beads, will actually hit the Earth Head. So that's when you just use power slash instead. So there's way more range. Infinite range, as a matter of fact. I was kind of paranoid about these heads, like you have to splice all of them, but sometimes the game disagrees with what it does and does not consider a power slash for me, particularly on the green and the blue head. So, I mean, I drew a little bit slower. The white one, or the black one as well, at the end right there. But yeah. Even counting Orochi, I overall saved 2 to 3 seconds on Mooncave. Very happy with that. You have to go into the portal 3 times before Sing finally lets you leave and stuff. Yeah, Cherry Bomb 2 and Power Slash 2 sound so boring, so I figure I just make it Cherry Bomb, Cherry Bomb, or Cherry Bomb, something like that. It's more interesting. I also ended up making some puns for involving titties for the splits where Rao is present. And that's not me objectifying her, that's me going along with the running joke that the game provides. Oh yeah. Dialogue in this game is amazing. Anyway, off to progress the story further. And skip part of the story doing so. Screw invisible walls and stuff. Correct. This run consists of all upgrades of the brush techniques, as well as the brush techniques themselves, of course. I also have to stop and get the Marlin rod right here so that we can get the Marlin, because you need Marlin for Whirlwind, which is the upgraded upgrade to Killstorm. Barf barf. But yeah, for the time being it's just a whole bunch of collecting various upgrades. Yeah, the Demon Fangs carry over, so you get the 80 Demon Fangs for Fog Pot, and I got it earlier in the run, because it's only useful if you like sequence break to get it early. Use it to warp around a bit. Wait, Wind Waker? What? I don't follow, Shady. Thank you for the host dick out for Harambe. That will now forever be in my VOD, and I am entirely okay with that. Perfect. Yeah, I know what Wind Waker is, Shady. I'm just not entirely sure what you're on about with it. Like, why did you bring it up? Because it has sailing, and this game now has sailing, but on a fish instead. It's... okay. I mean, I guess they are both Zelda games. I mean, kind of, Okami is kind of the best Zelda game there is, really. Anyway, back in the lead. Now the Fountain Split is a split that I was pretty scared to go up against as well, because I got a best split by like 10 seconds, if not more. In the PB, and Marlin gave me really good luck. So yeah, this split and Moon Cave was my main worry and why I wanted to buffer early on. But yeah, let's go fishing! What's up, Brendan? And thank you for the good job. So, in the Okami community, there is a running joke where, whenever, I think it was Bills, I don't know, one of the old boys was running this category and he got double blowfish. And kind of someone in chat said, well, double blowfish, that's a sign, that means this is the run. Well, there you go. I got double blowfish and it turned out to be the run. I actually forgot about that until I just saw this fishing segments. That was a big Miller. So yeah, Marlin didn't give me the best luck this time around, but to make up for it, my KTs in the underwater section coming up are better than PB. And overall, my movement throughout this section has just been clean and will remain clean. Do all of the stuff required. Yeah, Twitch kind of worked the whole changing the language of your display name. Like, you can change it, but you can't change it back. So get fucked. Good job, Twitch. Oh, you knew when you did it. Okay, fair enough. I know plenty of people who didn't know when they changed their names, so now they stuck. Get fucked. Shoutouts to one of the most beautiful places in the game with one of the chillest soundtracks. But yeah, compared to early game, my KTs have been significantly better after the 1 hour mark. Broke a mirror. Alright, so at the start of this mission you can just kind of jump on nothing. And if you hold left, you have a bigger window to do it, so it's not that big of a deal. It did take me 2 tries, so, you know. No biggie. Show us the bombs for clearing digging minigames. Reason we have to KT to this place, by the way, just before this minigame, is because from the inside the door is closed. That's where you're supposed to be able to do fountain until a second visit here, I think. And there we go. Once again, the strategy of build up a buffer for the really good splits turn out unnecessary because of the strategy of just fucking beating them again. The underwater segment of the run is pretty tricky for me, honestly. Also because of the movements, and there's still quite a hefty number of KTs. But in this one, so far so good. Inside of the dragon is pretty straightforward, but somehow still a bit tricky to do the movement right. One of the biggest things is actually maintaining your speed throughout all of these jumps. So that you can carry it all the way over here. And unfortunately I lost it at some point. So not entirely sure where I messed up. But I did. Now in order to free that orb over there, you're supposed to fill the entire room with like stomach acid and stuff. And that you, of course, yourself also cannot be in. However, the game didn't actually bother to make it a different property when it comes to water spouts. So all you have to do is water spout water onto the orb instead in order to free it, rather than the stomach acid. Yeah, I wonder what Twitch would change my name to if I switch my language to Japanese, but since I can't change back, I'm not gonna try and check. Like my username the way it is. This game easy life. Now this is the hard part, because all of this I guess it's stomach acid as well? Something that's falling from the sky? It's random, it's completely random, and as long as you are above solid ground, you can see where it falls. In the air, not so much, so you kind of have to do those jumps and pray that you don't get hit. Luckily I didn't. It's so weird in there. jumps are pretty tricky to do regardless. You can only barely make that. And then there's just some more cutscenes to trigger and stuff. Considering how little I've practiced the Dragon Palace segment, which is honestly less than I should be practicing it, but you know. Considering how much I have practiced this, I am really damn happy with how my underwater segment went in this run. 2 blue splits, A-okay by me. They're one of the least consistent ones for me, they really are. Practice your speed games, people. Do as I say, not as I do. That's part of the reason why I don't really want to push this category any further. It's because I just can't bring myself to practice this game a lot. And in order to improve my time even further, I would have to put in significantly more practice than I do. But I guess I just don't really have enough motivation for the speedrun to do that. It's not a games where I actually have plenty of motivation to put in the effort, the practice required to get top times though. So I'm fine with this one being a little bit more casual. Anyway, at this point in the story, shit went down and we're gonna have to try and save Rao, but we didn't do the first segment with her yet, which is the sunken ship, so we're just gonna do that now. This is more convenient to do it here. Music is all tense and shit, you're supposed to be in a hurry to get to the temple and then to the palace and all that jank. But nah. Nah. So yeah, let's go to the sunken ship. Now casually, I really dislike this dungeon. It's a pain in the ass. The entire gimmick is that it's haunted and then there's a bunch of shit happening and all that. But fortunately in the speedrun you can skip the entirety of it. Even in New Game where you don't have KTs. I can understand that with Rayman 3, that could for sure. The games, like the glitches in that game are super janky, so even with a lot of practice, they still feel inconsistent. Don't get me wrong, I did practice this game a bunch, but not near enough, not even close to as much as I practiced stuff like heroes and colors and dust forests and all that. Yeah, I'm about to save some more time here because I think I messed up the cannon shot. BB. And I didn't hear, so that's cool. Only reason we're here is to get the lucky mallet, which will get us inside the Imperial Palace. It's supposed to shrink you and stuff. And that's actually where we're headed next. So two options here: escape from the water dragon, or get eaten by it and warp to the shore. You decide which faster. Well, should be obvious. Never mind the fact that we already, you know, killed the water dragon just now in the Dragon Palace split, but, you know, secret breaking. All that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So surely this time we will actually progress with the story and go fight Evil Rao, right? No, not really. It's gonna take another detour to go get Mist. And that's another dungeon where you can't exit until you beat it entirely, so... In order to get there, we also have to KT through a cursed zone. Which means that these KTs are mostly blind. I can't check Emmy's animation, really. And I actually got interrupted by the cursed zone way more than I normally do. Probably because I was further to the left this time. And I actually kind of barely didn't make it, so I have to save myself a little bit better. So not too big a deal though. Upcoming though is my favorite trick in the game. The Mist Warp, not to be confused with the actual in-game ability Mist Warp. Community is just bad at naming tricks. Don't worry about it. It's a warp that takes you to where Mist is. I said earlier that the Power Slash has like infinite range, and that is very much true. It also goes through floors and walls, so by setting up the camera correctly, right here, you can do a Power Slash and hit way off into the distance and cuts the jar of mist that is loaded right there. Again, game already loaded the entire area, so... And even though that room is located way far away and below the current map, you can hit it from there. For a long time, that they didn't thought that was possible. RTA. And then a somewhat janky setup got found, and then a while ago the whole team banded together. By the whole team I mean the runners that were active before I picked it up. And they ended up figuring out that setup, because whenever you start the this segment, you are always in the same position. Fortunately, the mist jar is also able to be hit from that position, allowing for that really consistent setup. the start of the segment, I also was forced to open a chest, which gave me a small bone. That small bone is gonna mess with my menuing a bit later on, or at least make it slower. So, at the first good opportunity, I will sell them the holy bone. So here is once again a case of every room already being loaded, but being located below your current map. And the room we are headed to is the insides of the Emperor, where you fight Blight. Since you have to fall a bunch here anyway, it is considered pretty safe to go for unbuffered KTs, like without the extra pause buffer. But since that really messes with my muscle memory, I still do the buffers anyway, because otherwise I would just be missing too many KTs. Just ends up being more worth it overall to just keep doing the buffers. Honestly, this entire segment is just one of my favorite ones to do, from like Mist Warp to the Crazy Out of Bounds to the segment that is coming up after this boss fight. Best movement tech in the entire game. So right here, you're still inside the Emperor and you move him by kind of pushing against his belly. The animation, however, is pretty long, so it's faster to just spam it and only get the first half of the animation. It's amazing. This shit is actually faster. It's great. And then while we're here, we're forced into the shop menu anyway, so we buy a Traveler's Charm for Ida later, since we have to race him to get the gimmick here, which we need to get Thunderbolt. So there's like a whole another quest with her where you have to get a fire tablet in order to get like fire resistance. Not needed at all. Just skip it entirely. I think even New Game found a way to skip it. I'm not sure. More liquid KTs going on here, which I am still terrible at. So I had to fail it once. Change Karmic Transformers above the liquid, and there you go. And now we finally fight Evil Route. If you get your jumps right, then you can actually make it all the way over. But yeah. Unfortunately, I got interrupted by a cutscene there that's at the end of the platform. It kind of says something about the lava and all that. Like, watch out, lava! And you're like, no shit. So yeah, yay. Terrible with lava skip. I'd say that's the only part of late game that I'm unhappy about. But shit happens. This is where I'm giving myself constant reminders to sell the holy bone. This shop is the best one to do it at. There we go. That'll make menuing through the exorcism slips faster. Otherwise, the holy bone would be in the way. Have to do extra inputs, which, over the amount of time we use exorcism slips in the run, it kind of adds up. So it's definitely worth it. Right here, I did my jump input too early. So I ended up killing my speed when I touched the control stick. Shit happens. Not too big of time loss. What's up, Box? I am from the Netherlands. To answer your question with that. This is a pretty cool skip. All you need is 1 KT to get out of bounds here. And then for the rest, all you need is good jumping. You just kind of jump around the entirety of the island rather than going through the inside and go through all the puzzles and cutscenes and fights and whatnot. Don't even bother, just go around the outside. So in order to actually properly gain height and to not have to use any KTs to at the end to go to where you need to go, you need to properly jump right here. It's called green hopping, where you only see like the little patch of green and you don't see the gold leaves from the walking. And right now I'm doing pretty damn cool. Fortunately, kind of a sloppy polygon right there, getting my speed. But yeah, didn't end up needing KTs to save myself. This is the PS3 version. Box. So yeah, missed out on some potential time save there. Mostly due to the lava skip. But shit happens. This segment though, I am mostly proud of. Everything except the boss fight itself, I'm proud of, for sure. This section is entirely 2D, and this game wasn't exactly made for 2D movement, so it's pretty tricky to do this optimally. But my movement throughout this was pretty nicely done, honestly. Got like decent cycles on those platforms so that I could actually land on them. And then as soon as you put this key into the keyhole, in order to activate the rest of this section, a timer starts running for another cycle. There's like a sequence of multiple rotating cogwheels, sort of, right here, and they all have like holes on them, and this is where, if you do your jumps properly, you can get what's called the one cycle. Now, I have never done the one cycle before, but sure enough, in this run, it finally happened. Got my very first one cycle, and that is gonna save me a lot of time. I missed some KTs here and there, so it could be better, I suppose, but overall, I call this segment a win, for sure. The Ninetales fight itself, though, I've been having more trouble with than I'd like. It's mostly like the very start of the fight that's giving me trouble. You're kind of supposed to hit her here before she does any actions. Unfortunately, the bees were giving me shit RNG, and she started walking, so I had to wait a while before I could, you know, trigger that attack right there, which allows me to use Thunder on her in order to split her into several parts. When she splits up into the several people, or whatever you want to call them, there's always one that has more health than the other. In the first wave it's the fat one, and in the second wave it's the old one, so they require an extra hit. But they always spawn in the same pattern relative to each other. Like, the exact position won't be the same, but relative to where the other parts of her spawn, you can find pretty easily which one you're supposed to hit. So yeah, a lot of time saved there that I honestly did not expect, because, you know, I did not expect to get one cycle at all. Shame about the line finish spot though. But what you gonna do? Yo, Buffalo though. What's up, man? How you doing? Alright. So the catwalk split. Thank you for those, Buffalo. I can't. Catwalk split is pretty much just climbing Catcall Tower, which takes forever. It's just a whole bunch of wall jumping. Yep, we restreaming DPB. I hit my goal time, boys. These KTs right here are absolutely nerve-wracking, because, like I said, KTs can only be done above solid ground. And right there, the only solid ground is Orca, your fish friends that you are standing on. So you have to not move at all. So if you accidentally do an air dash forwards, then you can start all over again. But how precise the trick is, yeah. It's rough. Anyway, jumping time. I see Kinnan do another route in order to climb this tower. It looks roughly the same time, if not slightly faster, but this route definitely isn't slow though. What I'm about to do. Or did in the past that we are about to watch. It's a rough, yes. Bark, bark. I actually end up messing up my jumping rhythm a few times along the way. Shame, but not that big a deal. My movement on the way to Catcall Tower was pretty much perfect though, so... I can get away with a few mistakes. Getting that cutscene from the landing there is entirely fine. It's like either you get that cutscene or you climb all the way up without landing, which gives you a different cutscene up here. So either way you get a cutscene. Reason I'm dashing so much in a row there is because the camera there, it keeps changing like constantly, and it keeps locking your movement. So in order to not go slow, you have to kind of keep dashing to the top right along with the stairs. Meow. Just magoo it. You always do a bit of extra star drawing because it's hard to see the actual lines when you do it that early. But it's better than waiting for the lines to spawn. So yay, more time save. Incoming PB indeed. So yeah, right now I was feeling pretty good, not gonna lie, because I did not expect to get a lot of time save up to this point. The split we're currently on, that's where I expected to get my time save late game. Because I failed the race with Ida twice in PB, which loses like 15 to 20 seconds each. It's honestly pretty easy to fail the race if you try to bonk him in the wrong location, because he can, like, in the second and third race against him, he can drop a spiked ball. I don't know what they're supposed to be, honestly. But he can drop them right as you hit him while bonking, if you bonk him in the wrong location. So I actually practice this a lot after PB, because, yeah. And fortunately, that practice is gonna pay off. Bork. But yeah, win 3 races from him and he gives you the gimmick gear, which you can then use to get the Thunderbolt upgrade that is required for the all brushes requirements. Criteria, that's a better word for it. But yeah, there we go, minus 130. And from this point in the run, it's just a matter of not losing all of that time. I would say the rest of the run is pretty average. But average is all it has to be. Mine is one particular split that I'm pretty proud of, though. Just the Orochi refight in the arc. So yeah, get the Deluge upgrade. And because of the nerfs, my KTs get a little bit worse again, right here to the arts the end. But they're good enough to maintain this time save pretty much throughout the entirety of it. Bunch of third try skitties in there, that's kinda eh. But it'll happen. Pikachu, use Thunderbolt! Game once again cheating me by not recognizing the pattern. I'm kind of impressed with myself that I actually went the right way on all of the quick travel menus. Because the order of the Mermaid Springs and the Origin Mirrors doesn't really make... I don't know, in my head they don't really make that much sense. So often I'll go up in the menu when I'm supposed to go down and vice versa. But hey, I actually did it all right this time. Shoutouts to me remembering things. Oh right, this part. So yeah, getting out of bounds, my KTs were actually really good. And then right here, my fan was blowing my hair into my eyes, so I couldn't play the fucking video game properly. Man, I'm missing a shit ton of KTs here. Should probably go get a haircut again soon. 'Cause that should not be a problem. I like how occasionally after like a loading screen or something or blooming something I open the pause menu just because I think there will be a cutscene to skip when there isn't. Yeah. Anyway, I was really nervous about this split because I have a bad habit of messing it up. And it wastes a lot of time if you mess it up because the fight that you skip right there is very slow. But hey, I didn't get greedy. And I didn't mess up. So we end up. The Blizzard split and Power Slash's split that I was going up against were better than average. So I was still a little bit worried that I would waste a bunch of time here, but even if I did, it wasn't that big of a deal. I'd have to mess up really hard at this point to not hit my goal, especially since I also had a bunch of time save on the bosses on the arc. Just another case of nerves getting to me. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th try. There we go, finally. Lost speed in the process too. Brilliant. Right here I was saying to myself, don't do the stupid thing. And the stupid thing would be, after I break out of bounds here, not clinging to the walls enough and falling down into the void, making me have to save myself, which could waste a lot of time. You're damn right I'm hot. We're having a heat wave in the Netherlands right here, Shady. Like, please end my suffering. That's why I was doing offline runs to begin with, so I could have my super loud air conditioner on while I was doing runs, because doing them live on stream, it's actually too hot to play video games well. But yeah, since I'm streaming, air conditioner's off and I'm dying! End me. This is one of the sections I was most worried about. When it came to the final few splits. One of two, like, extended number of KTs. Wow, congratulations, Shady, you actually got one off. You caught me off guard. You finally did it. I hope you're happy and that you get your pyramid. Anyway, that was kind of below average. But the movement surrounding it has been good, so I'm not losing too much time here at all. So yeah, bit of time lost there. Not a big deal though. I always have more trouble with KTs in this part of the game regardless. Like, it's at the end of the run, and I feel like all the snow particles might make it the menu a little bit laggier or something. I don't know. I might just be tripping, and it's just a matter of me being fatigued, but yeah, let's just go with that. Just saying, it's not out of the question, but there's something with the game as well. Hey MF is a quality emote, and I wish every chat would have it, yes. Monko is a pretty top tier emote as well. Anyway, so yeah, slowly bleeding time here. No big deal though. There's some more time save coming up on this split and then some of the bosses. But yeah, we're in the final stretch, and after I get into an arc, I always feel pretty damn confident that gonna be with this kind of lead. You have to mess up really hard there in order to like get rid of all of this time. What does Monko translate to? Monko is the Japanese word for pussy. And the emote is called that because it's from an anime called Abichu, where they say exactly that word. It looks like a really innocent anime, kind of like Hamtaro. But man, is it crude. I forget the full title of the Abichu anime, but you should be able to find it with Abichu. So hey, that's now gonna be in my VOD. Good shit, me. I'm entirely okay with that. Anyway, yeah, good entrance to the arc. I ended up not fully charging my glaive there, which could have been a problem, but fortunately the beat shots did enough damage to make up for it. Now this split, I'm pretty proud of. Most of the fights, if not almost all of the fights, have been pretty damn free, just because you're so overpowered, and that overpoweredness continues. However, in order to do this fight fast, it requires a bit of strategy in order to actually get 3 heads drunk at the same time, and then hits every head after that in the optimal way. And nailing this strat always feels great. So here we go. This is the best fight in the entire game. 2, 3. He also hits the bell with the water spout there to do a little bit of extra damage, otherwise you would have to use 2 exorcism slips. But yeah, now it's just a matter of getting every head when it does its swing right here. Bam. The fire can interrupt you, it's a bit of randomness in here. But yeah. This fight is amazing. I wish you could do this on the original Orochi fight as well, but you get interrupted by cutscenes and you're forced to deal with the fire head as a result of those cutscenes. But that was a really solid fight right there. My movements in between the hits could have been faster, because I was going at normal speed. But everything combined, that's the best split, and that was just a really clean fight. So that in combination with Moon Cave and getting my first 1 cycle makes me really happy about this run. It's Japan, there's sake everywhere, don't worry about it. Why is there angels on the Ark? Why is there a wolf god on the Ark? Why is there copies of all the bosses on the Ark? If all of these things are likely, then so is sake. Because where there is beings, there is booze. I ended up messing up this fight slightly, unfortunately, but it's not too big a deal. And here I actually predict where the portal is going to spawn a little bit too well. To the point where I'm right in the center of it. Yeah. And that's actually not a good thing, because that means you have to leave and then enter the portal, otherwise it doesn't trigger. So ideally you want to be right in front of it. The location is always the same, but... yeah, it's just a case of get good. Do a bit of barking, since there's no actual music in this place, which I have said in the past and will say again, it was a terrible idea. Give me some music, this place is fucking boring. Like this whole mystical arc and shit, and could have had this good soundtrack for it, but no. Anything silence is more mystical. Oh, so that was Crimson Helm. He's dead now. I'm not gonna lie, music plays a little bit of a bigger role in deciding on the speed game than I like to admit. If there's like a lot of places in the speed game where there's just no music, and I don't know. It just makes it more boring for me to actually play through that part of the game. So I'm less motivated to run it. So the Twilight Princess actually has that problem. It's not the main reason I wouldn't want to pick it up though. It's just that it requires a lot of dedication. It's a really hard speed game. Which I can do, but hey, I want to give that dedication to other games. Ninetales fight is exactly the same, minus getting interrupted by cutscenes. So, yeah, strats. So. And then to finish it off, we have Yami, the one and only auto-scroller boss. That I'm actually gonna lose time on because I'm stupid. It's like, it's one thing for a final boss to be consistent, like that's nice in a speedrun. It means you don't have to worry about your run dying to an inconsistent strat at the very end of the run. But this boss is just straight up boring because you're so overpowered in New Game Plus. And because they added exorcism slips actually, because the fight is pretty similar in New Game as well, just use a lot of exorcism slips. That one item just made combat so much boring in the more boring in the speedrun. Use one. Start of the fight does actually use the beads as well though. And then to go into the next phase, after you get your third power up, you just hit it with an ink bullet. Ink bullet is a power that is granted by certain weapons. In this case, it's the glaive that's giving bullet. Very good damage here. And then right here I do a dumb thing and go to use a slip instead of an ink bullet. So honestly, I should have just gone through with it. Would have been faster than cancelling out, but you know. Anyway, this phase, this is a slot machine phase. I used to think this was random at one point, then I thought it was skill based at some point. Turns out, getting this option, the option to get powers back, is just based on the amount of health the boss has. So first you use 5 slips to get its health all the way down. And then you just keep doing the slots. And they will be rigged to always give you the option that you need. I am actually happy about that, not gonna lie. That it works like that. Because if this was random, it would have been hell. And if this was skill based, it would have been probably inconsistent as hell. It's just a bit anticlimactic, is all. One active. Also, yeah, this part of the boss is just use 2 slips, and use 2 slips again, and use 2 slips again, and then to finish it off, you use a whopping 3 slips. Easy game, easy life. Go, and then I actually ended up mashing start too early, so the cutscene didn't start yet, and there we go. But yeah, well, that is the run, and the final in-game time is 2:37:28. So yeah, this meets my goal of sub 240 that I actually already beat earlier this week, and then it beats my extended goal of 3rd place on the leaderboards. The time to beat was 2:38:24. I beat it by almost a minute, so I'm really happy about that. But yeah, that's me done for the foreseeable future with Okami. I might try any percent at some point, but I have no further plans for all brushes. And I will probably do a Platinum Trophy playthrough, not a speedrun, a playthrough at some point. So yeah, thank you for watching and stuff.